cutting edge of anomaly research. You are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, D.W. Gannett.
Hi, and welcome to No Nonsense Martian Anomalies. This is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D, and we call this channel The Evidence. And that's easy because you're a grown-up. You don't need anybody twisting your arm. You don't need anybody faking pictures so that you'll believe. You can simply look at things and make up your own mind. You be the judge. One of the things you will want to learn in order for this channel to make sense is X3D viewing. There's a link down below where the average person can learn in 2 minutes or so exactly how to turn your monitor into a giant Viewmaster. It's very cool because then you'll be able to see right on the surface of Mars all of these anomalies in perfect 3D. In any case, what we do is we break them down into 3 classifications. Oogies, out of place, not out of place, objects of geological interest. I'm thinking of out of place artifacts, but it's objects of geological interest, oogies, which could have been formed by geology, but are pretty weird. Then we have artifact candidates, which are just that. They might be artifacts, but there's not enough information present to make a good, clear call. And then the gold standard of this channel, artifacts. Items that display non-fractal geometries in sufficient quantity and with sufficient clarity to be legitimately called artifacts of an ancient civilization, in my opinion. You make up your own mind. Hey, listen, if you're new to the channel, we're glad you're here. And stick around if you're having a little bit of trouble with the X3D process. Some people do. There is a bonus just for you at the end. So let's go ahead and dive right in. You know, Sarah Runcie is a busy anomalist. She finds all kinds of great things, and this is one that kind of caught my eye and I thought was very interesting inside the green target area. This thing is a couple of feet long, and you know, it really does look like a petrified crawdad or a lobster even. Let me point out a couple of things here. It certainly seems to have the eye in the right place, and it's got that whole head structure, that carapace, that you associate with a crustacean of this kind. And did you notice the things that kind of look like legs all along the bottom? And I'd sure like to know what this perfect 90-degree angle is doing at the back. And you know, maybe you're not seeing the same things I'm seeing here, so let me throw up an image of a lobster so you can compare. Now you gotta admit, that does look a lot like a lobster, doesn't it? The one below. The one on top is a lobster, but you know, it sure is puzzling. Now we know that Mars was covered with oceans and had marine life, so possibly this is a lobster analog, Martian version. Oh, there's one other thing I want to point out before we leave this one. Did you notice this block in back? Look at the rounded rectangular part projecting from the back of this boulder. And on the left, a crenellated top, you know, like the top of a castle, and then those 2 deep grooves in the boulder itself, which I don't believe are cracks. Anyway, it just seems a little bit strange to me. We're calling them oogies, so objects of geological interest. Here's one I came across in Percy 707, thanks to Neville Thompson. And, you're looking right at that arrow that's pointing at a white cross in this rock. Now, how does that happen geologically? I don't know. Is it natural? Could be. Maybe not. Anyway, definitely of interest. Here's another oogie from 3403 that, it just seems too strange to be natural. But, let's keep looking. Here's another one that caught my eye in Percy 733. And you know what I think? It's just pareidolia. But this one reminds me of an old antique cathedral radio. Used to have one of those on the table when I was a kid. Here's an oogie that an avatar pointed out, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And as usual, the cool stuff is right on the edge of the picture. I don't know how NASA does it, but they do it all the time. Let's zoom in on it. So anyway, it looks like it has an opening in the front, roughly rectangular, and it does remind me of a trashed tin can or bucket or some kind of container. It's got those round divots all over it, and yeah, that can certainly happen geologically, but those conchoidal fractures are usually found in igneous rocks, and that's what this may be. But sure does look beat up metal to me. Here's one that my buddy TJ, Thomas Jensen, found in Nev's Gigamacro of Curiosity 3779. Very interesting debris field here, so let's move in on it. So, what do you think? This is kind of a strange looking boulder with all those right angles and that nice little ridge along the front. I don't know. It's there is other geology in this image that is kind of close to this, but this one is different. Anyway, you'll want to check out TJ's channel, Spacelink TV on YouTube. He's got some good stuff happening over there. Moving on into our artifact candidates, here's a very interesting find by Sarah Runcie. And I was initially going to put this in the oogie category despite the many right angles because it could be a broken off block, but then this caught my eye. This nice clean ridge that runs along the right side tells me that there's more at work here than just geology. This is a very interesting find by Bob Friedman, and it really does look like some kind of lettering or glyphs on the side of this rock inside the yellow box. Is that what they are? Well, we just don't know until we have boots on the ground. But I'm thinking this is a pretty nice find by Bob. NASA is still playing all their usual tricks with Percy's images that come back. Nevertheless, as I say, it's really tough to hide the math, even with copy and pasted sand and rockifying and all that. Case in point, the item inside the green target. So, what do you make of that? That bend seems geologically challenging, and of course it is an even thickness, especially on the left. Seems to have a fairly symmetrical shape, but it's lacking enough definition that we're going to have to leave it in the candidate category for now. Now it's time to move into the gold standard, artifacts, which are called artifacts because of the non-fractal angles that are present, showing intelligent agency. Now, inside the white box, we see two parallel plates joined by a piece on the left side with protuberances, including what appears to be a mirrored metal tube jutting out from the surface, facing us. Now, Bob Lexi pointed this one out in 2259, but there's one other thing that he failed to point out. I'm sure you noticed this layered circular metal piece with connective pieces all around the perimeter. If that's not artificial, I don't know what is. Sure love to know what it is. You know, this particular GMAC by NevT is fun to check out because it's full of little tiny things. These are small. These are an inch or two across. And it looks just like a machine was shattered right there. Check it out. Here's another one from 2259 that Bob Friedman found. And this, I mean, come on. This is a machined piece of metal, I believe. Now, it's only a couple inches across. But look at the angles. Look at the faces. Look at the divots, if that's what they are, instead of shadows. But, you know, obviously artificial. Nice find, Bob. My buddy, Laszlo Shabalix, specializes in finding little tiny things that people tend to overlook. And that's why sometimes the things he presents are blurry. But this is so clearly an artifact. It's perfectly square. It's got that diagonal line. It's got symmetrical thickness. What it is, we don't know. But Laszlo found a couple of things. We'll have a look at something else that he found in Percy coming up. Here's another interesting find by Bob Friedman, pointed out by the green arrow in the left-hand corner. We have what appears to be a perfectly square shaft going vertically into the underground. Now that is manifestly not natural. And it's kind of interesting because it looks like that block on the surface to the right is kind of a pyramid capstone almost that maybe slides over the top. Sure would like to peek over the edge and see what's down there. And we'll finish up today with another one of Laszlo's teeny tiny finds, and it's a beauty. Look at that absolutely perfect cube with a circular face right in the center facing us. And there appear to be corner notches or ridges on the right-hand top surface. An absolutely flawless artifact. What is it? Oh, man. One of these days, I'm telling you, there's going to be an archaeological museum on the surface of Mars showcasing the artifacts from the vanished civilizations that once covered this terribly destroyed planet. Well, you can ease up on your eyeballs a little bit. Here's a bonus section for those of you who may be having a little trouble yet with X3D. This is a pale imitation of true stereographic 3D. But you know, it does give you an idea. And if you saw something you liked today, man, it would help me out if you just hit that like button, leave a comment, and maybe even subscribe. You got something to share with me, go ahead and send it over to the email address down below, marsx3d@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help this channel out, hit that join button and find out what it's all about. And now, for all you proud weirdos out there, you know who you are. Stay safe and stay weird. This is your buddy Dave over Mars X3D. Be well.